Welcome to episode 133 of Outside the Circle, a podcast dedicated to new and upcoming country artists, musicians, and songwriters. Today's guest will be Malachi Gagnon. We'll get to him in a little bit, but first, I'm Ronnie, and here's Brian.
It's happening, man. Yeah, we're back at it. This feels good. This is one of the last ones, right, of your solo era, my diaper changing era.
Yeah, this might be the last of the solos. So we'll get to hear your voice a little more soon enough.
Nice. No, this is that's fun, man. We not too much again to write home about here from the Hopkins household. We are in it. I have Wyatt starts school, which is a crazy concept for me. To have to start taking him to school in the morning is going to be wild, I think. And God bless the teachers that are gonna, mend his mind and get that working right.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, teachers don't get paid nearly enough.
Boy, they definitely don't. And when I look at Wyatt he's just got a lot of energy, man, a lot of energy, and you got to have a lot of energy to keep up with him. And he, which I love that he has that, and I wouldn't trade anything about it. So yeah, hopefully the teachers, eat their Wheaties and have some tennis shoes on because he's gonna run them.
Yeah, yeah. And how's so obviously, that side of it coming from you, but how's Jamie feel about having a school-aged child?
At this point, I think she's been the one at home with him all day, while she, has a work from home, gig. And so, I think on one side, she's sad that, we're actually going to have that part of our life, where he goes away to school for the day and stuff like that. But also maybe a little bit of a breath of fresh air where she can focus on her job now and not have, a 4-year-old running around. Granted, we'll have the baby, but she's a little bit easier to take care of than.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's it's crazy that he's already school aged.
Dude, it's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Time is a thief. I don't know where it comes from, where it goes, but yeah, I feel like this year as a whole, I feel like it's already, what is it, already almost October? Like where did the time go? It's wild.
Well, I mean, you had to work all summer. I didn't even feel like summer was here. I think it was way too hot, so we spent so much time like inside to escape like the 95, 98-degree days that we had all summer long.
Yeah. In the camp world, I don't get that. I have to be in the
Right.
95-degrey heat all day long.
I felt like summer just blew by. I felt like it was, last week that we were on that big camping trip, it was that Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
That's like, it feels like that was like last week, and now here we are. Leaves are changing, and pumpkin spice is running wild.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I guess kind of staying with the change theme. We mentioned that this is the last solo one, so we'll have you back in the mix going forward. Another little change, I guess, we could also kind of mention, we didn't mention it last week, but for those that follow on the social medias and all of that, you would have noticed a couple of videos. We are taking the next step forward, I guess we can say. These interviews and these episodes are now on YouTube fully. It used to just be audio only, but now we'll have the video aspect of these episodes going forward, as well as the social media clips and all that. So if you miss something, you'll catch it on a clip. If not, then go watch the videos and yeah, no, I'm excited to finally have a visual aspect to everything as well.
Yeah, what's good about that too is like, when we first started this, we used Zoom just so it's a lot easier for us to, interact with the guests and everything. It's a lot easier to read body language and things like that. But the one thing that misses when you're just listening to a podcast via audio and not watching it, say, is you miss like the kind of the funny looks, or something. Some of our artists are pretty animated, and so like that's the stuff that is really fun to capture now on video, and that people are able to see.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more personality in video too. So yeah, no, so going forward, including last week and this week, the episodes are on YouTube. The clips will start rolling out, and yeah, hopefully everybody likes them as much as I enjoy posting them.
Yeah, yeah. Check them out on YouTube. At yeah, just look up the podcast Outside the Circle. Otherwise, man, let's just get to this interview with Malachi Gagnon.
All right, everyone. We're here today with singer-songwriter Malachi Gagnon. Welcome to Outside the Circle, Malachi. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. You probably about a month or two ago, we started hearing your name and getting excited to have you on. So it's about time. We're excited to chat with you. You got some big things coming up. First and foremost, though, we always like to start from the beginning, the simple clichéness. So, tell us a little bit about where you grew up, and how important music was in your household, things like that.
Yeah, I grew up in it's a small town in New Hampshire. It's like one of the bigger towns, I guess, but it's Dover, New Hampshire. I was born there, lived there for 10 years, and I moved out to Tampa, Florida, which is a completely different shift of mostly weather. But and then we lived there for 6 years, and we're back in New Hampshire, and I love it here. But I started getting into music during the pandemic.
Mhm.
I was bored out of my mind, and I was like, what can I do to take my mind off of not having anything to do? And so I was like, let's just try guitar. So I had this like plastic Amazon guitar that like most kids have, and I was like, I'm gonna start self-teaching myself, watching Marty Schwartz on YouTube, and
Mhm.
just learning how to play. And a couple weeks into just kind of self-teaching myself quietly, uh, we had like a family talent show thing, and I didn't really know what to do because I wasn't confident in guitar yet. So I was like, I'm just gonna. So we had a few friends over. I grabbed a karaoke machine and I sang "You Are the Reason" by Caleb Scott. And my dad and my parents, both of them were like, what? Like, you can sing? And I was like, well, because I had only ever sung in like the shower or in the car where everything else drowns you out.
Yeah.
And they were, obviously hyping me up a little bit. I'm their kid, and so they're like, "Dude, you're great." And I'm like, "Well," so they supported me, and I had a lot of people surrounding that I surrounded myself with this were really supportive of it, and so I pursued it. I was like, I'm gonna do this. So I
Mhm.
had different parts of my family just record me singing different covers. I learned "Ain't Always the Cowboy" by John Party is my first like cover on Instagram. I started TikTok, and I grew a following that was extremely supportive, really, really a great following. And I was like, I'm going to use that platform, and I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to make my own song. Go listen to it. So it was really cool to be able to, write that and have a platform to promote it on already. And so it was easy to build that. But yeah, I haven't. Music's been obviously a part of my life, and I've always appreciated and loved it. But I just got into it 4 years ago, which is crazy to think that that's how long ago the pandemic was.
Yeah,
But
I was actually thinking that recently. I was like, wow, it's been 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it's only been about 4 years that I've been, into music.
nice.
But yeah.
Yeah. What so obviously growing up around music, having music played and all that, what was like like what were your folks playing? Like what was the music around the
Yeah,
household?
it was always country, and I grew up in a, I don't want to say religious because I feel like that's a weird way to say it, but like a church home. We were very, yeah, church for sure.
Yeah.
And so we had obviously worship music playing around the house. And that's really where I like as a kid would sing a lot. And so that was cool to like, I still do. I still sing at church now, and I'm able to use my gifts that I have and give them back to the Lord because He gave them to me. So that's a really cool cool thing. But it was mostly, worship music and country music. So
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna take any two genres to bring forward, I think those are two pretty good ones to bring. Yeah, all right, cool. So New Hampshire, born and raised, Tampa, back to New Hampshire. I'm just looking at my timeline here. So all right, so pandemic, you're picking up the guitar and whatnot. Was there, I know you kind of went into it a little bit, but was there like a specific like moment or maybe just like a couple of different moments that you like really took a step back and went, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I had not originally. Originally, it was kind of just like a pastime, and like I was kind of just using Instagram to put myself out there and have fun. And it was not until I put out my first song and I was like, "Whoa, people listen to it!" And so I was like, "This is really cool," And so that I started thinking to myself, like, "Okay, you could do this." And so I started writing a bunch, and I put out my second song, "Psychopath." And that's become like a fan favorite, and so that's really cool. But I put that one out, and I think that song was kind of like all right, no, yeah, I want to do this for sure. Because originally I was kind of like into kind of like crime scene investigation. I was young for that, but I was still like, oh, that's what I'm doing. And so, I was set on that. I was like, that's what I'll do. I'm going to do that. And then, putting Psychopath out and people like engaging with it as much as they did, I was like, okay, I could see myself doing this for the rest of my life if God willing. So
Yeah. And so I personally am not that I'm good with the Instagram, but the TikTok is not my thing. I started one for the podcast, put up 3 posts in like 2021 and was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. So it sounds like the social media aspect of it has really helped and pushed you forward. And are you doing anything like in particular that you feel has helped in terms of social media, or I know a lot of times they just say just keep putting stuff out and you'll get in the algorithm. Like, do you find that there's a certain thing you're doing that's helping?
yeah, I'm the same way with TikTok. I don't post as much as I should, and I kind of want to get back into that, as long as they don't wind up, banning it.
Yeah.
But I should definitely get back because I have a much bigger following on TikTok than I do on Instagram. But I find Instagram easier to kind of like keep up with because it feels
Yeah.
a little more like personal in a way. And so like I do stories constantly. I kind of always keep like a story up. Just it keeps good interaction. And I love, communicating with, people who follow me. It's really that's I think Instagram is a good way to do that. But I just put up stuff. I still do a lot of covers. Right now I write a lot, so I put, songs that I've written in, the last 5 days, and I just kind of put a couple out and see what people are thinking of them. And if there's a big enough reaction, like one of them, I had written a song about a month or two ago about a friend 2 years ago who passed away, and I wasn't planning on really doing anything with it because it was kind of like it was really really personal, but it was something that I wanted people to hear, even if I didn't record it. So I put it up on Instagram, and I got a lot of feedback. That was a lot of people saying like, this brought a lot of closure, or this was really easy to listen to and tell myself back these words. So like, put this out, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I was able to record that. So it's cool to have interaction with people and see like what they're feeling if I'm on the same page as them. And but yeah, what you said is right. Just keep posting, keep interaction, and responding
Yeah.
is kind of what I found works best.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that you said that, especially like talking about that song in particular with, putting a little bit out there and getting that feedback. And it's a really interesting way to keep a hold on what people want to hear from you. And it's not so much that it's you could look at the negative of doing it too much turns into, well, are people directing my career or but I think it sounds like you kind of have it figured out where just kind of dabbing your foot every so often to just kind of check in and see what people want. No, that's pretty cool. Social media is wild.
Yeah,
The reach it has, it's crazy. Yeah.
it's crazy in that aspect, but also like to navigate it and like, the algorithm and stuff, because like it's all relatively new for everybody.
Yeah.
So like you're still trying to learn like what does Instagram feed into? And so I think it's more like videos that have a hook to them. So like I think Benson Boone, that is trending right now in like artists, where they would jump over something onto the camera and like cut to a video of them playing a song, which is it's genius. And so like having a hook like that is cool. But I think, yeah, you gotta learn the algorithm, and it's crazy to try and navigate that because it's still a new thing. And so you can't like ask somebody like, hey, what do you do? It's like you got to figure it out for yourself, because like they
Yeah.
don't even know what they do.
No, it's true. It's yeah, no, it's crazy. Um yeah, I am just old enough to remember the internet, but without social media. And it's even in the last I've probably had a Facebook now for 15 years, and even in that, the changes it's gone through, and now all the other things, the Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, or whatever it's called now, it's all over the place. Um, so you mentioned writing songs and putting them out there on the social medias. What does that songwriting process look like for you? Where do you draw inspiration from? All that good stuff.
I usually sit in my room with my guitar, like I'm on my bed, and I have kind of a system now, but it a lot of the time is just like hear a chord and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I like that, and then you kind of build off of that, and then there's a verse, chorus, and there's like there's a lot of systematic stuff to it, but I kind of find it easiest to sit in like how I'm feeling, which is kind of a weird way to say it, but it's true. You kind of have to sit in like the feels or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's become my favorite thing to do, which is just sit down, play my guitar, and write. I pull a lot of inspiration from my experiences personally. However, I'm only 16, and so those experiences are limited when it comes to like relationship stuff and whatever. Like it's not very developed, but I pull from my own experiences as much as I can. But I also build like stories, I guess, and like worlds in a way that an author or a screenplay writer,
Yeah.
like a movie writer would, where you build like a world and you put a piece of yourself into the character that you're, playing
Yeah.
in a way. And so it's like I, put a piece of how I'm feeling into, no thanks to you, that song. And I kind of play around in that character, and I feel how he would be feeling if it were me in that situation,
So that's actually a really cool way to think about that. So, yeah, we always talk about authenticity and how important that is as an artist and as a writer. But also, like you said, like the experiences while there's still a lot more to come down the road. So to take that storytelling approach, or you're storyboarding a song and building this world. What I like about that for you, especially as you continue to grow, not only in life but also in music, you're gonna develop certain skills and things that you might not have um, had you just focused on, like, not to sound cliche, but like this happened at lunch today. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, so it's no, I think it's really smart to really dive into that creating aspect of it, and not just for the guitar, for lyrics, or it's gonna help in all aspects of the craft as you continue to grow with it.
For sure. And it's cool because I can do that while still having the songs like about the one about my friend that's releasing in September. I'm able to also pull very heavily from how I feel and how, my own personal things. And so I think I found a good mix and a good way to kind of sit in both worlds.
Yeah. So I always like to ask, especially, being a couple years into it, I'm sure you remember, do you remember the first song you wrote and what it was about?
Do you want way back? I can't do way back. I could try, but that'd be pretty far back. Yeah, I wrote a worship song called "I Choose to Praise," and it's kind of just my parents were like, all right, it's been a few years now. Where did you hear it? And I was like, what? And they're like, where did you hear that song? Like, did you actually write that? And I was like, yeah, I wrote that whole thing, because it was kind of a little bit deeper than just a 12-year-old would be writing. And so it was a little more. It was even before I started playing guitar or anything. I was completely untrained in music outside of just having heard it all my life.
Yeah.
And so I took a lot of biblical stories and used them as analogies and stuff. And so that was the first song.
Nice. I dig that. As I go to church myself. I participate in worship stuff myself. So I enjoy that answer, that it wasn't a typical this girl borrowed a pencil from me. The amount of times we hear that. So no, I like that a lot. No, that's cool. So we've come a long way since then. 4+ years now, as we talked about with this, getting out of this pandemic here. I think this might be a good time for us to take our break, play the song we're going to play for you. So why don't you go ahead and introduce that, and then we'll talk about it when we come back from the break.
Yeah. This is my latest single, No Thanks to You.
I bet you're thinking that I come crawling back and I'm sinking in the deep end, but that ain't where I'm at. Girl, I'm so gone, I got up and moved on. Found hope at the end of the hurt. Thought I'd stay down forever, but that wasn't how it worked. No thanks to you, I'm better than our first date. Turns out I had to learn it, then get to about living in a dark place. It won't let you hear the heartbreak. Picked up the pieces one at a time. Now I'm doing just fine. No thanks to you. No thanks, no thanks, no thanks to you. Now that we're through, life ain't been the same, and I don't hate you. In fact, I'll take the blame for letting you storm in with no warning, leaving like a thief in the night, stealing my sanity. Well, I turned this tragedy into my own little paradise. No thanks to you, better than our first date. Turns out I had to learn it, then get to about living in a dark place. It won't let you hear the heartbreak. Picked up the pieces one at a time. Now I'm doing just fine. No thanks to you. No thanks, no thanks, no thanks to you.
All right, so let's talk about No Thanks to You. First and foremost, what was the inspiration behind that song and getting it out there in the world for you?
Yeah, the song is about kind of moving on, even though they didn't make it easy. They really made it harder for you. But even though they did all that and made it way harder, you're still doing all right. You're doing better than you were before. So I wrote this one out in Nashville with a couple of great writers, David Ray Stevens, Phil Mosley, and Brandon Hart. We were doing some writing sessions. We wrote that one, Some Our Love, and Haunt My Dreams together there. So that was a really cool experience. And we kind of all pulled from our own like life experiences. And obviously they've had many more experiences than I have. And they've all David wrote with Jelly Roll. He wrote I think it was Son of a Sinner was his song with Jelly Roll that has blown up now, and Jelly's obviously doing well. But they've all had so many life experiences that I obviously haven't. And so it was cool to be able to sit in a room with three other guys that have lived life and just, use their life experiences and put them to words while they're throwing ideas out. And it's like, it's so much different than writing in my room, but it was such a cool, like, learning experience just to be in with some of the greatest writers, in the business. It was just a really cool, exciting experience for me.
Nice. So yeah, I didn't even think about that before when we were talking about songwriting. So you have done these co-writes and do you prefer one over the other? Do you prefer being more by yourself? Do you prefer being with them? I'm sure being with co-writes, you're constantly learning, so that's obviously a plus. But
For sure.
Yeah. No, normally we do talk about the co-writing side of it, and I completely slipped my mind. But yeah. So how has that experience been for you, kind of getting to know these other writers and experience that?
It's really cool just being able to, just even sitting in the room with them. They have like just a vibe about them. It's a bunch of creatives in a room, so that gets crazy.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to just talk and throw life experiences out. Like I was saying, it's just they've all lived life, and so they have different experiences with this same idea that we're having. And so just kind of some all these ideas coming together as one. It was really cool to see. I had never done it before that. It was always just me in my room. And so it's tough to say because I had a lot of fun doing it, but I love just it being me in my room. And it feels kind of like just real. And I love authenticity, and I kind of base myself in that. So as much as I did love writing in Nashville and having that opportunity, it's probably my favorite thing to do is just sit in my room and write by myself.
Nice. So yeah, so No Thanks to You. Normally, so I don't think I mentioned off top. So normally I have a co-host and producer with me, but he just had his second baby, so he's a little preoccupied.
It's really cool.
But he always likes to talk about the production side of things. He's an audio engineer by trade, so he loves talking shop on all that. I always focus on the emotional side, the lyric side, the story side of it, I guess, if you will. This song couldn't have entered my life at a more perfect time. I am literally going through this as we speak. So this was this one, it took me a few listens. The first one, I was like, oh man, like now I got to deal with this again. But no, man, this is such a good song, and you guys killed it, and the recording of it's fantastic. You killed it on the recording.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is a great song. And
thank you.
Yeah. So I know we are also, so as of the recording of this, we're in the middle of May here. I know you have another single coming out at the end of May, as well as, you mentioned some other stuff later on in the year. With the release coming in May and things further down the line, What can we kind of expect from the next couple of months from you?
Yeah, May 31st will be Think About Me, which is kind of like it's a new era, really, which, I guess we can talk about because of Taylor Swift. But it's a new chapter in my musical journey. It's number 10, which is kind of weird to say, and it's extremely surreal. But yeah, it's my 10th single, and it's a slightly different genre. I'm switching it up a bit. In between recording No Thanks to You in Nashville and writing Think About Me, I mean, it was a good amount of time, like a good few months where I was just writing and writing and writing all summer. Even a lot of the fall, I was just constantly writing. And each song kind of felt more pulled towards this singer-songwriter genre. And I was introduced, Zach Bryan had a song. He had done an album, I think actually like a week later, dropped an EP. And on that EP was an artist named Noah Khan. He's blowing up right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing really well. And I had never heard of him before. I had never really gotten into that style of music, but it kind of felt like that's where I was writing. And so I was kind of constantly trying to fit my songs that I was writing into country music, but that just didn't work for these songs. And I was like, what am I writing? And so I, searched genres, and I found that kind of like alternative folk pop singer-songwriter, like all these, but I was like, this is kind of where it fits. And so I took it to my producer in Clearwater named Spencer Bradham, works at a Clear Track. He's a wonderful guy. We've worked with him for 2 years, and he's done every song except for the 2 in Nashville. So it was, I was able to communicate with him, and it's a friendship now. It's more than just a business thing. And we were able to just make that like dream of changing that genre completely a reality. And it was really cool to work through that and just learn with this song. And so that's where this one sits. It's a next step, really. And it followed the next 3 after that follow it very, very religiously. It's same style, which is nice. It's consistent. And they will be releasing kind of like every other month until November. Hopefully, that's the goal. So May 31st will be Think About Me. And then a song called Stay in July, very self-explanatory, based on the title. It's about wanting people to stay. And then I have 2 others, one in September, which is the one about my friend. And then in November, it's a song called Fade Away. And we will get to those, of course. It's that's a good ways away, but that gets us to the end of the year, really. And it's just I recorded all of the beginning of the year, and then I release and promote for the rest of the year, and play shows. And I'm hoping to do a few within the next year, year and a half ish.
Yeah. So that was actually going to be my next topic is the show life, the live side of it. So you're in New Hampshire now. How is the live music scene around you? Is it thriving? Is it what's that look like for you?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not like Tampa had a great scene. It was I was able to play my first show there at the New World. It's like a little venue. I had 250 people show up, which was the most surreal feeling I've ever felt. I was like looking at them like, wait a minute. I had like a big smile on my face. I couldn't sing the first song, but that was a really cool experience. But I mean, Tampa had like a crazy music scene, and it was all like underneath, and it was all local artists that were, excited for everybody. So it was a great scene there. Here, there's not really any cities in New Hampshire other than like Manchester and Concord, which are like the 2 big ones. And within that, you can find some places, but it's mostly just bars, coffee shops and stuff. So I'm planning on doing some stuff like that and working with bigger venues to do, opening things or just my own show.
Yeah. So what does that look like for you? What is a live show for you?
It's been a few different. It's been live band with like, my guitarist, drums, keys, bass, full band. And I also have done just my guitar. I played at a tent and at the biggest, festival, and one of the biggest festivals in Florida, that was really cool. And it was just me and my guitar singing a couple of songs. And so it's probably going to be that for a lot of them, but I'm hoping to get a full band that I can start doing shows with.
Nice. Yeah, and hopefully I would have a feeling. So we're based out of New Jersey. My co-host producer, he's actually from upstate New York. So he's probably more in tune with kind of how New Hampshire runs. I have a feeling with you mentioned Noah Kahan before, like with that style starting to really blow up, I would imagine that we're going to see a lot more, maybe not venues, but um like bigger bars, bigger like locations kind of start bringing in those crowds for in places like New Hampshire and upstate New York. And I feel like you're kind of getting it on the ground level, and it's a good thing, because I feel like this is gonna explode in a way in areas of the country that don't really have, I'm 20 minutes to Philadelphia and 40 minutes to New York City. So like I have whatever I want at my fingertips, but that's not the case everywhere else. So I feel like that's gonna really start putting some places on the map that are only going to benefit you. So I think that's I'm hoping that works out for you.
Yeah, where I'm based out of, it's only 50 minutes to Boston.
Oh, okay.
So, on bad traffic days, hour 20. But it's so we have that, and like hour 30 sometimes to, Rhode Island. Let me think, what is it? Providence. And so it's like, it's not, I have to remember what that was. But so as much as it's small town, three house towns, but it's also, you have the cities, you have, Boston, which is like a big city, only quick drive. So there's a lot there. They have a big music scene there. I do hope to stay in this area, even if music is blows up. I want to stay, hopefully, as close to home as possible.
Yeah. And you know what? We talked about social media earlier, being as close as you are to a city like Boston. That's very attainable now. As big as being in Nashville helps, or even like being in like Los Angeles or Austin or whatever. But you don't really need to be in those towns anymore. It's the world reach is literally at our fingertips now. So it's no, that's cool. Are you so being up in that area, are you a Boston, New England sports fan at all?
Oh yeah.
Are you a Bruins fan?
Don't talk about it. Don't even. It's not doing too well for us right now. But I was actually just at a game last night. I was at a Bruins game last night. It's right now it was the fourth game against Florida.
Yeah.
So it's it's all right. We're doing all right.
Yeah. Brian's a diehard Bruins fan.
Yeah.
So any chance I get to I'm a Penguins fan, so I got no room to talk right now, but that's awesome. That was a good game last night too. Well,
it was cool. Yeah. It was regardless of the outcome, it was a good game.
Yeah. Nice. All right, cool. So we mentioned a couple singles coming on down the line here. Is there, so you said you were writing, recording, now you're kind of just putting out and promoting. Are you planning on getting any more recording done this year? What is I know it's only May, but what does the rest of the year kind of look like for you in terms of just kind of getting ready for the next step?
Yeah, this summer I'm planning on doing more music videos, because I haven't done one since one of the probably my third song. I did the first 3, I think. And then I haven't had any time to do those ones. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because being only 16, my voice does change pretty crazily, within a few songs of it. So I have to make sure I don't get too far ahead. But I think I want to record maybe 1 or 2 more that I could put out kind of in between, or like right after, just to keep it going.
Yeah.
But I don't technically need to do much until next year, but I am planning on doing some music videos this summer. Hopefully up here. I want to do some, up in New England.
Nice. All right, cool. So then we're talking all this social media, where can our listeners go to find you online?
On TikTok and Instagram, it's Malachi Gagnon Music. And then, on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, all the big ones, it's just my name, Malachi Gagnon.
Cool. Yeah. Well, Malachi, man, it was an absolute pleasure getting to chat with you. I'm excited to see what the rest of this year and going forward looks like for you. From where I'm sitting, it sounds like you got good head on your shoulders, and you're looking to push forward, and I could see some big things happening for you. So yeah, no, it was a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Yeah, that was our interview with Malachi. That was awesome. And, for like a young dude, he really has a lot of understanding of what he wants in his music and everything, dude. It was a really good one. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I had a really good chat with him. Like we mentioned, it was the last one that I did solo, so I feel like by now I was kind of in my own swing of things. So I felt like, I got to really connect. Doing them solo the first couple times, I don't have you to bounce off of, so I have to drive the ship. So I think by this one I really got, I guess, used to it, I guess is the right word. But yeah, no, I mean, for you mentioned being a young kid, we obviously talk about the Instagram, TikTok, and how important that stuff is, which kind of goes in play with the video side of things for us now. But yeah, I loved his story, right? I'm a big fan of the whole like worship music side of things, and for that to be the first a worship song being the first song that he sat down and wrote, really, one, of course, I love that, but then two, it just having that I don't want to say topic, that's not the right word, but having that inspiration to write about, really opened up the gates for him. And he talks about experience, and he's young, but he's got the experience he has, and he's only going to continue to grow, and it's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, before the interview, I had, we were talking off air and saying that just like within the few releases that he's had, you can tell the change in his, his voice and the tone in his voice. And, that is just coming with the fact that he is just all in, and you're hearing, the growth in his vocals and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see, more from him and see, where this journey takes his music and him as an artist.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we'll get to the second song in a second, but we tend to always play usually another recent single or something that the artist wants us to play of theirs. We were going about that with this single. However, as of literally a week ago, he released another single since then. So while we're going to play his summer single, I encourage everyone to go listen to the newest single as well. And yeah, for 2024 was a good year for him. You mentioned the growth and between all these songs. So yeah, can't thank Malachi enough for joining me, and it was a good time.
Yeah, man, you did a great job on that one. And again, great job, wrapping up the the solo stuff. But yeah, we definitely want to thank Malachi for coming on Outside the Circle. Make sure you follow him on all of his social media, music listening platforms. We'll leave you today with another track from Malachi Gagnon, Think About Me.
Close my eyes and I dream of you. On my pillow, your sweet perfume. The fragrance of your memory keeps me longing for what I thought would be. You're good at leaving, but better at sticking around. Still in my head, but you're nowhere to be found. Said I was your all, now I'm not what you need. But I bet you're thinking about me. Do you think about me? I was sure that you were the one. Can't believe that you're gone. Now you're out of sight, yet still in my mind. I wasn't ready for you saying goodbye. You're good at leaving, but better at sticking around. Still in my head, but you're nowhere to be found. Said I was your all, now I'm not what you need. But I bet you're thinking about me. Do you think about me? Do you think about me? When you're all alone and you see your phone starts ringing, but it's not my name. When you drive downtown and you pass my street, avoid the place we used to meet. When you hear our song playing on the radio of your car, do you think about me? 'Cause I think about you. Yeah, you're good at leaving, but better at sticking around. Still in my head, but you're nowhere to be found. Said I was your all, now I'm not what you need. And I bet you're thinking about me. Do you think about me?